Some are lost, not all who wander into the woods. The forest had other plans. It was supposed to be a weekend retreat. I suppose the invitation sure sounded harmless when Darren got it. An old friend, a break from the grind, and there were always campfires under the stars we always promised. This was the last time anyone saw him alive, and he didn't know it then. Friday night. Miles away from the nearest town, Darren set himself up camp in the edge of the woods. It unnerved him to be in the still place. It looked so still, too watchful. The trees loomed overhead. He brushed it off as nerves, but tried to shake the feeling of being watched. But the forest was already watching him, was already waiting. Darren heard it at midnight, a simple whisper, a soft one, so soft it could be overlooked by the rustling leaves. He thought at first it was the wind. The longer he listened, however, the more it became clear. Turn back. The words seemed to bubble from nowhere and everywhere. The next morning, Darren convinced himself it was just a dream. He shrugged it off and went looking for a hike to clear his head. He realized he wasn't alone as he was walking. His footsteps echoed his own until he stopped, until he started again. He turned around several times, but nothing. The feeling that they were closing in on him. Just the trees. Then he found the first sign. There were deep scratches in the trees, too high for any animal that he knew, and far too deliberate. By nightfall, Darren's calm had gone. The neat woods now felt like a forest trap, the trees bending and twisting as if they never had before. The whispers returned as the fire flickered. This time, they weren't warning him. They were laughing this time. It turned into paranoia for his fear. It sounded all up and down him, but he was alone. Or so he thought. In a panic, Darren ran, his taunting with every step to the laughter behind him. Something was out there. It was getting closer. Something that wanted him to know. And then he saw it. It wasn't human, no more. The creature did not rush. Instead, Darren turned and ran. It didn't need to. He knew these woods better than he ever would have, that these woods knew these woods better than he ever. The more he ran, the further into the forest's grip he went. As he stepped into the trees, seemed to close in. And with every step, at some point, terror stops you in your tracks, and you know you're gone. That was the moment for Darren in the heart of the forest. He didn't even have time to scream. Days passed. No one could find Darren, so search parties routed through the woods. His campsite was untouched. Then his tracks vanished at the edge of the forest like he'd never been there at all. The locals knew better. The forest had taken people before, and would again. Next time you find yourself wandering too deep into the woods, remember this. Not all who enter return. His stories are whispered through the trees, just like Darren's.